This is Rise Again, and this is Witchblade number 1, a hard reboot that completely tosses out the original story and starts fresh. Or should I say not so fresh, because this cover looks like a Summer's Eve ad. Or a tampon ad. Ever feel like your period is literally leaking out of your eyes? We can help! With our cardboard optical applicator, your menstruating eyes are covered. Thanks, Bounty. I don't know tampon brands, so I just sue me. I don't care. And this logo, it looks like a band name carved into an emo kid's arm. This is the logo of an emo band that had their first gig at a local coffee shop set up, but that bitch Kathy, their bassist, didn't show up, and so they didn't get to play, and Damien, the lead singer, who spent all day carving Witchblade into his arm with a big pen to reveal it to the audience at the end of the show, can't show it now, and he's just pacing around the parking lot, smoking a cigarette, flipping his hair intensely, talking about how he's going to kill Kathy with all his friends. No, he'll never do it, but they're feigning talking him out of it, and the band is dissolved right then and there in the parking lot. That's exactly what this logo looks like. In case you don't know Witchblade, it was a famous 90s comic known for its brilliant meddling of gritty, hard-boiled cop protagonist Sarah Pazzini, wonderful action, dark supernatural fantasy, and sexy, sexy characters. Not just women. Men were idealized as all hell, too. Here's a cover from the original series. Okay, now let's compare it to this one. Why did this happen? Duh, mofo! Feminism. Also known as the ass cancer of fun. It kills creating good stories everyone can relate with because it's fucking one-sided as hell and focused on gender politics over humanity. It's just an ideology. You can be for women being equal in everything and in every way and not subscribe to anything feminism is saying. There's a reason it's called third wave feminism, people. The first two waves were necessary for women's rights. Third wave is just women bitching about how sexist air conditioning is and how men sit with their legs apart, and that's a big problem because these self-obsessed bigots can't wrap their minds around what it's like to have outdoor genitals. Modern feminist perspective is political agenda before creative excellence every time. Yeah, so I got hired to write this new Witchblade book. Oh, great. What a great step forward for feminism. I mean, representation, diversity, blah, blah, blah. I know, and I was like, hey, can we, do this from, a modern feminist perspective? Where, we throw out everything that made the other book great, and then we change its name to, I don't know, Bitchblade or something. And they were like, no, you see, Witchblade is kind of an IP, and it has a TM. And I was like, TM? That means totally male, doesn't it? He's like, sorry to assume his gender, by the way. He was like, no, it means trademarked. And I was like, oh, capitalist patriarchy strikes again. Could we, call it Tumblr Blade then? No. Fascist! Check this out. This is the cover, and this is the author. Author, cover. Did she have them do the cover to be her selfies? Or is this a coincidence? What's going on here? She's written a few comics of her properties, but never someone else's. And so when she got to finally write someone else's, her first move was to throw out everything from the original and do her own version. She usually writes teenage vampire novels that get one-star reviews for being too man-hating, by the way. She's calling her version the J.J. Abrams Star Trek version. So let me get my sunglasses on here real quick. If I know J.J. Abrams, there's going to be a ton of light flares ahead. Let's find out. So we have douche ads, tampons, emo kids carving themselves up, and feminism, and J.J. Abrams. We haven't even opened the book yet. That's great. Let's get into this shit. Okay, I already feel uncomfortable with the titles page because if you trace all the names on it, it makes a penis shape. Yeah, not cool. So we open on a chick dying during what looks like a 90s anime closing credits because mystical feathers are flying everywhere. And it says, death is not the end. Death is a doorway. And on the other side, rebirth. Said every teen vampire novel ever. What is this? Is this Fisher-Price My First Vampire Story? That's how they all... Those are direct lines from that shit, isn't it? Is this a tagline for a Twilight fanfiction forum? What is this opening line? Maybe it's a tattoo on Anne Rice's neck with two little fang marks drawn next to it. Is that what you want to do with your opening, huh? That's how you want to open Witchblade. Okay. So, you know you're writing Witchblade, right? Not Vampire Diaries? You know that, right? So the feathers fall and a shady man stands over her with fists clenched like she owes him fucking money. And whoosh, like you already knew, it was a dream sequence. Yawn. And she wakes up to in her makeup like a stayover hooker, and she rolls right into every rejected TV pilot voiceover ever. Same dream every night. You'd think my subconscious would get bored. I've had them before. Anyway, time to pop about 7 huge numb my everything pills to make sure I don't go all Joan Crawford today at work. Yum. She works with battered women because feminism. Feminist plots are like infomercials for their shit most of the time, aren't they? There's no escapism. It's all like, oh, she's helping out a woman about to testify against her abusive husband because, you know, men, pigs, and blah. And they always draw inspiration from 2 things: victimhood and the men who perpetuate it. Every time. For some reason, as the victim, she hands our hero Alex a framed photograph of her happy vacation with her douchey husband, and she goes, this victim chick says, if something happens to me, I want someone to know just how much of a liar he is. So she wants to see that even in the happy times during their vacations, he was still a bad guy, I guess. And she's just like, and I want you to have this sex tape we made. That way people will know how well hung he was. And I want you to show these bank statements too, so people can see all the money he spent on me because, ugh, what a dick. Why is she giving a nice picture of him to the people who are trying to help her out? Bitch, that's what the defense uses in court to make the guy you're going to be prosecuting look good. Okay? This guy needs to go down. He put his hands on you. Take him down. Get him out. Don't help them show your tropical margarita adventures in paradise and how good he is. Show them your dental bills and x-rays and your rising eyeshadow budget because you had black eyes to cover up all the time. So another dream sequence. And it says, Alex's apartment, Brooklyn. Now. It's a dream, dude. You don't need to tell us time and place. We'll get there. You amateur Twilight fanfiction motherfucker. So she's having another nightmare about a very embarrassing heavy flow day. And she gets shot, and then the feathers from a 90s anime come trickling down again. I don't get it. She's bleeding on the ground, curled up, and then she gets shot, but she's standing up now in the next panel wearing a jacket. And then she's on the ground bleeding again, and her jacket is next to her. It's been shot off somehow. How does that happen? Does this happen? Is this a forensics thing I don't know about? Jackets just blow off of people when they're shot now? The Witchblade talks to her, and it's like, wake up, Alex. You don't remember, Alex. Being born, living. You don't remember being afraid. Okay, I don't know why I did, like, drunk Kermit for that. I just didn't want to do what you would expect Witchblade to be, you know? Like, wake up, Alex. You don't remember, Alex. Being born. Okay, whatever. Witchblade shows her life in a splash page. Like, boom! Should be a big moment. And it's just her face and some feathers and Polaroid pictures. This book so far is just feathers and fucking dream sequences. In this page, it looks like my so-called life fan art or something. It looks like a Tumblr self-portrait, well, minus the like cute cartoony anime ones they do that are just terrifying most of the time. Why is it Polaroids? Why hasn't the Witchblade in her mind upgraded to digital? Why hasn't? Why? Hey, Witchblade, we have fiber optics and wireless internet now, dude, and 4K resolution. So you don't have to sit around shaking our memories waiting for them to develop anymore. You weirdo cheap-ass looking Claire's bargain bin skank bracelet. Witchblade lets Alex know that she died and was born again, and that her future is that she and the woman she's protecting will die at the feet of an evil man person if she doesn't go save her, I guess. But it looks like if she goes to save her, that they're both gonna die in this panel, so let's not worry about making sense. And then she's in front of her mirror, totally dressed, and she's like, it's morning. You're awake. It's not real. And then her reflection looks back at her with the menstruation eyes and says, I am real. I am you. And she cries in the bathtub, because this is both a commercial for battered women and a reel of overused horror movie tropes like the old, I thought I was awake, but I was in a dream after all, and the timeless, my reflection is an evil me and has period highs. Ugh. Gah. And look at how weak and unscary this reveal is. It should have been a large, detailed panel, looking right through the viewer, you know, horrific. Maybe she's got a horrific grin, and it's just a little panel here in the corner. They do this the whole fucking book. So she sees someone outside her bathroom and walks into the same scenario she just dreamed. So this is like dream sequence take 3. And she finds a corpse on the floor while doing like a pose from the musical Cats. And the lady has her brains blown out and tells Alex, "Save me, you can save me." And Alex covers her up, even though she's like the woman's sworn protector and the woman's talking to her. And she's just like, "Help me out, Alex." And she's like, yeah, let me get this sheet over you there. And maybe this, put this, like nice rolled up newspaper in your mouth. Shut up. Nice going. Well done, ambiguously named protagonist. Well done. And then look at this. She pulls out her TV-sized cell phone that she can't even get her fingers around, and it just kind of falls away. Oh, the horror! Yeah, so I was thinking in this one scene in Tumblr Blade, trademark, that she pulls out her cell phone, and it's like one of those really nice, oversized ones, and then like suddenly it like falls from her hands. Oh my god, that's horrible. I know. And there's like no case on it. Oh, no case at all. Harsh. I can't even, I don't even know if I should trademark something so triggering. Maybe, like, trademark shouldn't even be trademark. Maybe it should mean, like, triggering maybe. I don't know. So the Witchblade Claire's Boutique Edition tells her, no one can save you. Gender-free named hero. You must save yourself. I haven't heard lines like that ever in a book. Fuck. Death and rebirth. You must save yourself. It's a dream, but it isn't. Was this book written using the dictionary of Merriam cliches or something? What the hell? Then she gets all modern woman and smashes a wall with her fist and goes, "Shut up, Witchblade." Look at how blandly the action is drawn here. She has all the intensity of holding out a remote to like change the channel with this punch. And then all Bitchblade here emits intro to Photoshop smoke filters around the room. I'm not kidding. The artist couldn't do the smoke, so they had to call the 90s smoke guy to come in, and he was all like, "Yeah, you're going to need about a Photoshop 1 smoke for this. Yeah, I got you." And then this kind of phantom apparition of her client's husband just jumps through the window. Is this shit real? Is it not? Who gives a shit? It's not scary or intense. It's just nonsense posing as intriguing mystery. He wraps around her and he's like, "So new, so young, so warm and alive." Creepy shit menfolk like to say because we're all class 5 creepers, am I right? Then her eyes turn black because the book forgets that it's Witchblade and thinks that it's like a reboot of Charmed or something. And she grabs a piece of glass and she shoves it into the intruder's face, and he bleeds first level Photoshop filters all over the room. And Alex says, "Oh fuck, oh fuck." And the Witchblade is like, "You cut that bitch like he was holding out on you. How many tricks he done? Hells yeah, he ain't gonna be worth as much no more. Ho, ho, ho." Just kidding. Tumblr Blade doesn't say that at all. He says, "Survive, non-binary named hero. That is all that matters. Survive." And we could be seeing something cool here in the smoke. Maybe like a face or an eye or something. No, it's just a whole lot of freshman year graphic design major magic smoke. That's all we get. Nerd. And then she jumps off her fire escape for some reason. And it's not really explained why. Like, we didn't see her go out a window or open a door. She just kind of like there's like a little stick figurine silhouette of her falling off her fire escape. She just does it. And she goes into an alley. And I assume she's looking to buy some tampons for her eyes or whatever. But then the fourth man, whose face is shrouded in shadow in this book, appears behind her. I'm not kidding. There have been 4 men shown in this book, but they're never shown. They've been totally faceless and in shadow and evil looking the whole time. Totally evil, totally feminist. And he says, "Don't struggle. I'm here to move the plot forward." And he's in this tiny panel. All of the big reveal moments in this shit are done in these tiny panels with like far off shots. It's not fun. There's no dynamic action. Look how tiny her jumping off a building fucking is. It's a sliver on the page. And I don't even know why she's doing it. Please stop it. You're giving my Witchblade boner blue balls. Then she fights yet another shadow man. She's in perfect lighting and he's totally dark, bro. And she elbows him and pulls out mace, and he tells her, "Hey, you need to calm down." she just goes, says the creep in the alley. And he's like, well, would it help if I told you that I know you're not crazy and that it's all real? And she's like, it's not real. I just have to go see my therapist. Like like this happens to her all the time. Shit. And this is well beyond paying someone to listen to your bullshit, lady. Okay? He says, you woke up and you can't remember stuff and you hear a voice that's not yours and you're having visions. Am I right? And her eyes go black again. She falls asleep again so we can have our fourth dream sequence. That's right. And she talks to a girl she knew when she was a kid. And Annie Akbar is like, actually, this is just you processing the trauma and I'm not really a vision. I'm just a memory to help you deal and stuff. And Alex is like, but I take all 38 of my horse pills every day and I talk to a doctor. I've been doing so well. Here's a fun little feminist trope for you. A lot of modern day feminist heroines are always psychologically unstable. Like, instead of just having human flaws we can all relate with, they're all, like, on pills and seeing therapists and being all around Looney Tunes. You know, that's supposed to make her interesting as a character, but, like, I just see it as kind of a reflection of the over-medication epidemic going on in story form. Like, pretty much every woman I go on a date with nowadays can't wait to tell me about their mental illness, you know? And now I have to read it in my fantasy fucking books. It's creepy, because it's almost like they're proud of it. Have you ever noticed that with anybody these days? Like, it makes them a more interesting person. They're like, and I got this badge for anxiety, and I got this one for depression, and I got this one for bipolar, and I got this one for fits of rage, and I got this one for setting fires. Oh, don't worry. This was a campfire girl's badge. And I got this one for arson, and this one's for being socially awkies. Tee-hee-hee. I appreciate you guys being upfront and all, but it's like always the same fucking list. Like, you're not cool for having all these neurotic flaws to lay out on me. I'm not like, oh, can't wait to, like, breed with this one. Like, it's like they want to see if I'll keep dating them after they dump their baggage out on me to sort through, and they want to, like, get it out of the way as soon as possible, maybe, you know? Look, I get it. People have illness, and it needs to be talked about and treated and not discussed in a way that's stigmatizing towards it, you know? But don't you think at some point we have to start letting people know that it's okay and normal to be anxious about things or to be depressed from time to time? Like, that we don't need to seek out our answers in pill form every fucking time? We're all depressed and socially awkward. We're anxious. All of us. That doesn't make you special. What makes you special is overcoming those problems rather than letting them define you and be an excuse to be an asshole. All right, anyway, rant over. And then her ghostly friend tells Alex that she's not crazy with her mutilated meatloaf face because she dead. Wompity womp. And then heavy flow again. Oh, this whole fucking scene is pointless. This is stupid. And we cut to she wakes up and says, what now? Notice she doesn't like sit up screaming, covered in sweat. She's just sitting there when we turn the page, and she just saw like the mutilated face of her 13-year-old friend, and she's pretty much bored at this point. She's just like, yeah, seen that before, what abs? And then she picks up a book. She like noticed she's in someone else's place, and she picks up a book and holds it up like it's supposed to be a weapon? And why not just grab like the pots next to the book, or like try to sneak out the window? Oh, I don't know. But like she just pulls back the curtain and she holds up the book like, yeah, where's the dust jacket for my copy of Hunger Games? And she sees Mr. Scarface, man, and she's all like, you stay the hell away from me. I'm not confused. I'm pissed. I get attacked and then I wake up to some random creep holding me hostage. And let me tell you something. If she really thought that this was what was going on, she'd be throwing shit and screaming for help. She'd be fucking, it would be nails, he'd have even more scars than he does now. This is fucking dumb. So Scarface John Stamos is like, I brought you here to keep you safe. The artifact hasn't merged with you fully yet. And she's like, I don't care. I'm going home where I can complain that I never get out of the house enough. And he's like, look, let me explain the Witchblade to you. Like, you need to accept it. Just let it in. If you don't, it could kill you. And even after all this insane shit she's seen, and the voices, and him showing that he knows exactly what she's dealing with, she just looks at him and goes, you're like a schizophrenic I met in a psych ward once. What the fuck? What an asshole! This hero's an asshole! he patiently guides her through it, though. She finally remembers being followed by the evil husband from in her case, and for some reason he follows her to a rooftop. Why did she climb up a rooftop? The book can't get the basic logistics of characters even going somewhere correct. It's so weird. She says she's going to interview someone, so why does she climb a fucking rooftop in a blizzard? Like, this book should be called Lobotomy Blade. And he explains that she needs to stay with him and give it time to bond, and that it's a gift. And he just seems to know everything there is to know about it. And she doesn't even bother asking him how he knows all this. She just goes, "Is this hell?" This is our hero, everybody. And then she says, "I can't let this ancient cognitive weapon of legend hold me back. I have to get to court." And she leaves without asking the guy a fucking thing. Not even his name. Bye, random creepy alley guy who held me hostage and spewed schizophrenic shit at me. I've got 0 questions for you and a court date. Gotta go! Got to go! Then she tries to take the bracelet off, and Bitchblade is like, "Nope! Take me off and you dead, bitch." And then we see that the bracelet has been passed on through the ages to different warrior women. We see a woman with a sword, followed by a woman with a sword, and then a woman just holding a Nazi's decapitated head. And in case you had doubts that it was a Nazi, they gave us a wallpaper from the Daily Stormer in the background. And then we have a woman with a sword. Pretty cool, huh? I don't know what's going on with this Red Sonja chick in the bottom panel, the last lady with the sword. There's these eyeless monsters behind her, and one's just screaming at another chick. Well, like, she holds a towel over her chest and looks like, yeah, that's kind of rude. What the fuck is going on in this book? Are you pumped by seeing women holding swords with matching bracelets on? Because I was hoping it would show the Witchblade armor wrapped around them looking all badass and dangerous and full of tetanus and such. What the fuck? This book is so anti-epic. Every big moment is presented as a whisper in this story. Nothing's big, nothing hits. So we cut to her deciding that her talking Forever 21 bracelet has made her badass, and we find out that the evil husband has been released and he's out for blood. So she bolts to her client's place and she says, "No restraining order, no reason for him to stay away, nothing to stop him from doing what he's wanted to do since she left him." Dude, restraining orders are actually very easy to get. I don't understand. Like, just show some nasty texts and say that you feel unsafe and they'll give them to you. This is like acting like a restraining order would keep like a crazed killer away, which is like, no, it wouldn't. So she barges through an open door to her client and the crazy ass ex-husband with a gun to her head because they've left the door fucking wide open. And he's like, "Where's the thumb drive, Mira? The divorce isn't settled until I get it. I didn't collect all that porn just for you to take the thumb drive and turn it into a backup of selfies of you drinking wine with your fucking cats." And he says, "Do you know what you took from me?" And he spots Alex, and he's like, "What the fuck? You're supposed to be..." And he thought she was dead. Then he beats the shit out of his ex-wife because men are scum and feminism and hashtag kill all men. And he says this shit about the thumb drive again, which is supposed to be like so intriguing, and it isn't. This book keeps trying to be intriguing, but all I get from it is that the writer doesn't want to hurt her head having to explain shit, so she just shits out as many like mystery cliches as possible and just hopes for the best. There's like a way to egg people on with mystery, and it's not by having people mention thumb drives while they're about to blow their wife's fucking brains out, okay? Just a tip. Anyway, so the guy has a gun to the forehead of his ex-wife, and he's been beating the shit out of her, and instead of crying or being nervous or shitting her pants like a normal person would in that situation, she's just like, "Whatever, just get it over with and shoot me." In fact, this entire story, this chick's face with her black-ass fucking lipstick has been a face of like stern apathy. The whole time, I'm serious. She's like a victim, and she looks just like she's mildly frustrated sitting in traffic. The entire fucking story. All this after being beaten, having a gun put in her head, and filing for a messy divorce and protection from her ex. What the fuck? This is why the feminist perspective sucks. It doesn't know how to portray women because it's obsessed with making them both victims and tough as nails at the same time. So you get these messy results. If you ever need a face to be the flagship of why feminist fiction makes 0 sense, this is it, people. This is fucking it. So finally, a gender-neutral named hero does something, and the evil husband, Blake, is killed by tentacle porn. Yep. Death by tentacle porn. Not the first time this has happened. This guy's being killed by neon dicks from nowhere, and yet somehow this page makes more sense than the rest of the book. Most of the time you read this, you'll be rereading it and going back over pages, wondering what's happening, wondering if, like, you're stupid. Is something wrong with you? It's a fucking headache. There's nothing wrong with you. This book it can't handle its own story. It's fucking a complete mess. Anyway, now that we're done, what's the count, people? Let's count it out. We have 4 dream sequences, 2 instances of men being called creeps, 5 men being evil and faceless and in the shadows, 4 failing attempts at mystery that I really could keep up with, to be honest, 1 dead Nazi, punching Nazis, y'all, 3 uses of intro to Photoshop smoke filter, 1 completely incoherent story that confuses more than it titillates, and 1 shitty reboot. This isn't Witchblade, people. This is a good example of how feminism and hiring the wrong people bring down what was once a great IP. Trademark. The fun and the magic and the energy is all gone. In the distance, we can hear celebrating over this book, though, in the form of feminists talking about how a female team made it, so it just has to be special somehow. Not sure how. Just is. Don't make them actually become special through making a good book or anything. Their genitals are enough. However, this book is going to get rave reviews. You fucking know it is. It's an all-female team and a feminist message, and all the review sites are leftist echo chambers. They don't exist to promote truth or criticism or debate or discussion as much as they do to just promote an agenda, to promote media that fits in line with their little, like, march through our fucking media and our halls of education, okay? Our media has sold their souls, people, and until we call them out and instill a renaissance of ethics and a lack of politics and ideology from them, we're just going to keep getting mutilations of classic books like this. They've created an apparatus that sustains mediocre books. Mediocre everything, really. No one holds them to real standards as long as they have the right politics. There could be dog shit smeared all over these pages for all they care. What does this do? It brings down our cultures. There's no standards or greatness to strive towards. It creates an echo chamber where only certain politics and messages get out, and only certain people who have the right ideology are hired. And that's just not a fucking world I want to live in. I want to live in a world that's striving towards something higher. I think these people put their politics before their humanity, and that just hurts everyone in the end. What do you think? Leave me a comment and subscribe. I'm Rise Again, and death to fucking Ming.